And I would say this though, maybe you just kind of throw up a finger or be, you know what I'm saying, like, so.
But yeah, like, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on, like, what's the age requirement for best girl and waifu stuff. I know you don't really do the whole waifu and anime thing because you're like, I only talk to real girls. Like this waifu thing is something actually serious. But I will go with this. Like, waifu does have a different connotation than best girl. Like, I look at best girl as like, who is my favorite female character of a season or overall. Whereas waifu is like, oh, that's my anime crush. And it's kind of creepy to have a crush on, like, a middle school character.
You see how you discredited me, but then kind of said what I'm saying? Like, so a waifu, like, you know, I like real life girls, you know, like girls in real life. Now,
I do too.
That's not to say that, like, you know, any nigga that you show, like Jessica Rabbit, you know, like, damn, you know, red dress, she got a fat ass. Like, yo, it's a cartoon. And niggas will acknowledge, like, no, if she, like, she's a cartoon, but if she was real, you know, I crush that. That's what niggas say, right? So I get it. Like, I get the spirit of the waifu thing. I just think with the culture of anime, the way it is, the weeb, I'm not going to get into that business. I'm not going to get into the waifu. Plus, like what you said, so many of these characters are so young, like high school and middle school chick. No. What kind of R. Kelly ass nigga do I look like? Talking about, oh, this is my waifu.
I think the argument for it is that in Japan, the age difference is like 16, so like in those shows they could get wifed up at 16. And also for me, man, anime be exaggerating shit so crazily that like them high school girls be looking grown than a mug. And I know in real life some of these little high school girls look grown than a mug, but it's like, if that's the majority that you're gonna put out for us to like garner feelings for or to emotionally connect to, then I'll go with the high school age, because I think they're like a first year high school girl in an anime would be like 16 or 17 years old. So, you know, it's definitely sounds creepy to say that you're in love, which I don't say I'm in love. I just do this stuff like clowning around and just having fun with it. Obviously, I can't marry a 2D girl. But it's just like, you know, she's got wifey material. You know what I'm saying? If she was real. But I do think it's creepy if you go into like you see like Chio-chan and you're like, oh, that's waifu. Like, come on, man. That's a little weird. But like Sakaki, if you like Miss Sakaki from Azumanga Daioh, you're like, yo, she's kind of waifu material.
So you're tying the acceptability to their development. Because it sounds like, listen, man, I worked at recreation centers, man. So I'm dealing with people, you know, boys, girls, everybody different ages, man. And some of these girls, man, they look like they was 16 going on Instagram, honey. You feel me? So, you know, you can easily go and like, oh my, that's crazy. But then go have a conversation with them and you're like, oh, you're all the way 16. You know what I'm saying? You don't have definitely no type of sense, right? But again, my point in that is, again, like, so if you want to make the acceptability of a waifu tied to her development, you know what I'm saying? I mean, again, we on a slippery slope with that kind of stuff, to me.
Yeah, us anime fans, we do operate on a slippery slope all the time, and that's kind of the fun and enjoyment of anime, is that anime and its fan base goes to places it probably shouldn't go. Well, but it does at times make things a bit creepy and a bit
It is. That's why, again, I'm not with this anime shit. I'm not calling nobody no waifu. Like, I talk about regular girls. Now, let me ask you this. So that difference between when you say a waifu versus like best girl or whatever, it sounds like to me you're talking about attractiveness versus appreciation for their character. Because that's why for me I don't have no problem with saying, oh, like best girls, like these are, you know, the top characters, you know what I'm saying? Because it's more so about what that character means to me. Yes, Urza as a real person would be a very voluptuous, attractive woman. But for me, it's more about Urza's character. The fact that she's a tough fighter and she goes hard for the squad. Like, that's more so, for me, what it's about than her physical characteristics. That's why, for me, she would be high on the best girls list. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's why on the best girls list, she is developed as she is and whatever age she may be, she can be included in a list with Kuriyuki Hime. Because even though Kuriyuki Hime is a middle school girl, but again, it's not about her age or her physical qualities. It's about the character that she is. You know what I'm saying? That she cares about the little chunky dude in the same class with her. You know what I'm saying? And that is a very talented person. You know what I mean?
I guess to me, I look at best girl, and I don't know. I guess you have to talk to other otakus and weebs out there. Shout out to the otaku and weeb community. Your boy Panda's right there with you. But I personally, I look at best girl and waifu as like the only thing. I think the big difference for me personally is age. Like, I just don't feel comfortable saying a girl that's like in middle school is a waifu. Like, I just think that's a big, but to me, best girl and waifu are similar. I would just say that best girl is like a more safe, more easier going phrasing, whereas waifu is like you're going deep into the weeb culture.
Listen, man,
and that's just how I see it. Now, maybe others see it. Others might see it a lot more loose than me, and they're like, "This is all just a joke, and it's not real, and who fucking cares?" But that's just how I see it. So I don't think there's too much of a big difference between best girl and waifu for me, other than I'm not gonna say a girl that's like in middle school is waifu. Nah, that just feels off to me.
Listen, man. If we start on this anime shit, you're gonna lose all your sports listeners. You're gonna lose all your sports listeners.
I gotta be me, and I gotta talk about what I'm into too. So y'all can look, man. I don't tell y'all weirdos to stop talking about your Game of Thrones. I don't really care. Meanwhile, there's all kind of foul shit going on that show. They be having incest and all kind of bullshit on that show. But I let y'all do y'all. You know,
hey man, but there's actual humans versus like, you know, illustrated. Hold on, let me finish.
Hey, but that's my
before animated folks, and there's fighting and fucking. And for people, that's all they need. They need action. They need smashing.
But that's my point.
That's it. So and it's by real humans.
Cool with fighting and fucking, but they be portraying incest with real people.
Yep.
Even if they aren't truly related, because obviously they're actors, but these are 2D characters, and you can say, well, you're promoting pedophilia, but at least our characters are not real, so it's not like we're like messing with an actual cartoon or anything.
And I get that relative to that part of the conversation. I was just saying that's why like there's so many people that are into Game of Thrones, because to me Game of Thrones, I've only watched bits and pieces, so maybe it's not fair for me to say, but I'd say that the energy of it is similar to an anime. You know what I mean? Like, you know, a really wild developing storyline over a long period of time. Like, that's anime shit. You know what I'm saying? But because it's, you know, real actors, people are going to fuck with it differently than animated people. You know what I'm saying? So you could say, well, I'm not going to question y'all's weirdo Game of Thrones stuff, but that's like the more prevalent, that's the thing that more people are going to accept versus the animated stuff that most people in America are not. And it's not fair, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, I get it. But I don't know. That's just, I guess that's how I see it. But
you ain't wrong, fam. You ain't wrong.
But now that we got that out the way, we kind of discussed it a little bit. I'd like to welcome you all to the Panda Podcast. Once again, this is the second episode that we've now done. I just want to say congratulations to my partner in crime, my brother from the same mother, Rat Cat. Hey, we got one episode in the bag, man. And now we're working on number 2. How does it feel to be doing this, man? We've been talking about doing this project for so long, at least for me, to do this podcast. And it just, we did some, and it didn't turn out the way we wanted to. I kind of fell into a deep depression about it, and I didn't want to really work on it creatively. But then I found some inspiration over some taco bus with Dijon. And here we are now. We did one episode. I worked all weekend, and now we're doing a second episode. So how do you feel, man? We got one episode in the bag, and we're working on 2. How does it feel?
That taco bus will inspire you. Listen, what was it we got that had a little crispy outside, the chimichanga?
We didn't get it.
Well, that time we got El Jefe.
El Jefes.
Woo, the El Jefe is like a big ass burrito.
Let me tell you something.
It's like, go ahead, speak on that.
You guys, a lot of you are probably listening, aren't from Tampa. You're probably from Columbus or wherever, where a lot of our friends and family are from. Taco Bus is slamming. And the El Jefe, you can't finish in one setting. And this is coming from 2 people who can eat like no other. I can't finish a El Jefe in one setting. It's just no way.
The most I ever ate was that last time. I was really hungry as fuck. And I got like 2/3 of it.
Yeah, I've gotten a half of about 2/3 of it, but I can't eat the whole thing in one city. That thing is crazy.
Yes, it's insane.
But it's so good. So if you ever in Tampa and you go to a taco bus, enjoy, because it's mad good. But
man, I tell you, like I've been saying to you all week, or at least the last couple of days. It can't be all week, because nigga, we just started doing this, but I'm just really, this is something, this podcast thing, this is really nothing to Troy and me, because, and to me to a lesser extent, because this is what we do all the time. We have conversations about various topics, but definitely about sports. You know what I mean? And to me, I'm not just blowing this nigga's head up because he's my brother, but the reality is there's no one that watches more sports than Troy. There's no one that's more knowledgeable, that studies, that this nigga has a book, like a big ass encyclopedia of like college football that got sent to him by another sports writer.
Shout out to my man Matt Zemek.
Like, who that got that? You know what I'm saying? An entire encyclopedia, almanac, whatever, of college football. And that's just that. You know what I'm saying? He watches soccer. He watches tennis. He watches hockey. He's been on this hockey bag for, if you listen to the last podcast, he's really pushing this hockey thing. I just say all that to say, like, this is nothing new to me. I'm just so happy that Troy's in a space where he's doing this thing that he's always done. And for me to be able to share that with him, it's really dope, So
I appreciate that.
I just can't even tell you like how happy I've been and I'm telling you, because I live with this nigga, like his energy is so different. You know what I mean? Like,
I actually
his energy, this nigga don't clean shit. Like, when I tell you, this nigga won't pick up a sock off his own foot off the ground. You feel me? This ain't a shred session. This is just to put in perspective.
Oh, no, it's true.
Like, this nigga got up, fluffed up the love sack. For y'all that don't know, it's like a big ass bean bag. You know what I'm saying?
Foam in it,
it's got foam. It's not beans, but it's that idea, and it's really big. And I've been fluffing that thing every morning since we moved to this apartment, which was like December. He fluffed it. When we ate breakfast this morning, he cleaned up the table. I was just like, who is this nigga? Like, what is going on? But I'm telling you, like, his energy is so different, y'all. Like, so whatever energy you feel from him, the passion you hear in his voice when he's talking this sports stuff on this podcast, it's because this is him. This is like him living in the spirit of who he is. You know what I mean? And to me, whether this is something that blows up or this is a small thing, a big thing, whatever thing, I just think it's a good therapeutic, cool ass thing for Troy.
Absolutely.
And I'm just, like I said, happy to be a part of it.
And I appreciate it. I'm thankful that my brother is supporting me on this thing. And to me, this is something I've always wanted to do, but I love and I'm passionate about what I do, and I want it to be right so much that I can put a lot of pressure on myself to get it right. And that's why I said I fell into a little bit of a depression when I did this one podcast with Rat Cat, my friend Brandon, and our friend Tim Davis. They came on. Man, that thing was beautiful. It was 2 hours long. It was wonderful. It was like everything I had hoped for. But then I listened to it, and I could barely hear Brandon and Tim. The video quality was poor. It was just something I couldn't really put out, and I wasn't happy about it. And I threw a whole tantrum. Like, I was punching walls and throwing myself on the love sack. I almost cried. I was a mess. Because I just want to get this right for my people, for all you guys to listen. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, which my best friend, she gets on me about doing that a lot, and she tells me to stop. But it's something I got to work on. But for now, I feel like I'm finally going in the right direction. I finally feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm delivering this podcast for you guys. So it means a lot to hear that my brother's really happy for me and really appreciates what I'm doing, because this is something I've really wanted to do for you guys for a long time. And it's dope that I'm finally in the right frame of mind and the right mindset to actually do it for you guys. So this is dope for me. It's real dope. So I hope that you enjoyed the first podcast we do. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoy the ones that are coming next, because this isn't going to stop. I plan on putting out as many of these as I can, and I want to have as much fun with this as I can. And like Rat Cat said with this, wherever we go with it is where we go with it. And if we blow up from it, great. If not, then this was just a therapeutic thing that I got to do with my best friend and my brother, and I'm cool with that. So, how
many best friends you got, nigga? You be slinging that around quite a bit.
I do sling that around, don't I?
You know what? I'm gonna answer that for you. Okay.
Speak. Sorry to cut you off. Because I'm gonna answer your question.
Speak on it.
The truth is, like, it's weird because I look at you as my best friend, but I also look at you as my brother, which is different. And the reason why I call you my best friend still is because there's a lot of people out there that aren't close with their siblings like we are. That's a good point. That's true. I tend to forget that because I just don't understand how you couldn't.
Right.
Because I've always been really close with you. But my experience isn't everybody's experience. So I like to say that you're truly my best friend because not everybody gets along with their brother. And it's not just a given that you will. However, in terms of people that I just came in contact with and they came into my life through me meeting them and me building a relationship with them, my friend, she's my best friend. And that's what I mean. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, I throw it around a lot, but I feel like it's different. Like, I think the levels of you two and our friendships is different. But that's what I'll say to that. But anyway, again, I want to thank you guys for listening into this podcast. I want to give a shout out to Nourish, the channel Nourish, for providing the vibes for the Hookah Lounge today. I don't know if this sounds kind of loud to me. I don't know if it's going to sound loud to you guys. I turned it down a little bit, but I hope this all sounds...
Listen, y'all, we early in this thing. We still getting this thing worked out. It's going to get better over time. You know what I'm saying? So right. It is what it is right now.
We're learning.
Yeah.
So I hope that you guys are patient with us and you grow with us, because we're going to need some growing. We're going to have some growing pains, and we're going to make some mistakes. But hopefully we learn from them. And I say that to segue because there's somebody that we love and we care about deeply, but I don't think he's really learning anything. And it's sad, and it hurts, and it's painful. And that's a shared favorite player in the NBA of ours, and our buddy Russell Westbrook.
It's tough, man, because there's probably plenty of people that are listening to this now, or if they listen to this, who are not Westbrook fans, you know? And the thing that I would love to know from them is why. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he got to be your favorite player, but, you know, for me, he's a guy that is everything that we ask of an athlete on the court. He plays really hard. He gives everything he has. He's a, you know, you might not think he's a good teammate. Some people think because he hogs the ball or whatever the case may be. You know, we're in a ball-dominant time of basketball. You know, I don't know that you could say that Westbrook is ball dominant and not watch LeBron James and kind of see some of that, and not watch James Harden and see some of that, and not watch Chris Paul when Harden is not in the game and see some of that. Like, we're just in a ball dominant sort of time, you know, except with the exception being those teams that are able to be more free flowing, like the Warriors and Spurs and people like that. But I just think that there's so many things, like amazing things that he does as a player, as an athlete, and I just feel like so much of it is overshadowed by the narratives by people that of pointing out the negative things that he does, things that he doesn't do well. You know what I'm saying? And believe me, he has plenty of flaws as a player, you know, as a person. We all do, you know. But you know, I've just been a fan of him and his passion and his eccentricity. Did I say that word right? You know, the wild clothes and shit. Like, I'm with that too. You know what I mean? And I'm a big fan of him as a player. And I feel like I've defended him a lot in a lot of conversations that I've had with other NBA fans. But you know what, man? It's like the flaws that he has are getting tough to defend at this point. You know, he's still my favorite player, but at this point, man, it's like I don't really have any defense to back him with anymore, man.
I wrote a status this morning. Well, I'm gonna rewind a bit before I go into my status. Like,
okay,
I didn't really get to see Game 4 last night because as I mentioned before, I worked all day, and about the time that by the time I got, like, the game came on, I had to do some training with the BA at our group home. So I didn't really get a chance to watch any of the game by the time I had to do my paperwork, and then I had to drive home. And by that time, it was like the fourth quarter, and I looked at my phone and I just was disgusted. I was like, I thought for certain that the Thunder were going to turn this thing around and start to flip the series back, and then we're going to win Game 4. And then they were going to really put the pressure on the Blazers to win Game 5 back at home. I just knew that was going to happen. Then I get in my car, I look at my phone, and there's like 6.5 minutes left in the game, and the Thunder are down 13, and I'm just like, really? So then I'm like, well, there's something I really got to check. And I got to see what I know exactly. I was like, there's only one other thing I really need to see. And I went, and I was even more disgusted. I seen that Russell Westbrook had 13 points on like 5 for 18 shooting. And I said, oh my gosh, he's doing it again.
I believe he finished 5 for 21.
Yeah, he finished 5 for 21 with 14 points. He only scored 1 point in the second half. A guy that athletic and talented only scored 1 point in the second half. And I just was disgusted. I just put on the Joe Budden podcast and I drove home. I didn't even really look at the score anymore. I just was like, he did it again. He did it again. So then I get home and Dijon is in his room just seething. He's mad. And I can just tell, I'm like, Man, I really didn't even want to talk about it because I knew that he was really upset about it. But then he just spoke his mind. He was really frustrated because Russ was doing his normal shit talking and he wasn't backing it up. And at first I was like, well, that's who he is. I mean, he can't really change. But then as I slept on it and I had some crazy dreams of my own, and then I woke up the next morning, I thought about it. I was like, that's his damn problem. Is that he's always just being who he is. He's not evolving. He's not changing who he is. And so then that led to me writing this status that I wrote some 12 hours ago. I said, confession. It absolutely hurts my heart to see people just trashing my favorite current NBA player and one of my favorite NBA players of all time in Russell Westbrook. But the worst part of it all is I can't defend it anymore. It's totally warranted. I watched James Harden, a guy who he used to start over, go 3 for 20 and do more for his team than Russ did. It's actually incredible how much better James Harden is than Russ now. While you still win and lose as a team, this Game 4 loss wasn't as much of a collective loss. You got 32 from PG. You got 17 from Schroeder. Grant was 3 for 5 from 3. Everyone but Burton, who played, scored. The problem is your superstar, which is Russell Westbrook, scored 14 points on the same amount of shots it took Paul George to score 32. And he didn't affect the game in any other way either. And a lot of this loss can be put on Russ. Maybe it's time to stop rocking the baby. Maybe it's time to stop calling Mo Harkless a bum-ass nigga. Maybe it's time to start busting Dame's ass, pause, like you claim you do all the time. But this story only gets sadder because Russ isn't going to change. We're going to still get ill-advised threes. We're going to get bad fadeaway jumpers. We're going to get missed free throws. And we're going to finish it off with a poor interview where much isn't said and nothing changes because the oversized fish in a very small pond, he can basically do whatever he wants in OKC. Absolutely no one there to check him. Maybe Russ and the Thunder win games 4, 5, and 6, and this is all just a big overreaction. But I don't think it is. I think what you're seeing from Russ is what you get. And soon, even his most staunch supporters, such as myself and you, Rat Cat, won't even try to defend him anymore and may abandon ship altogether. Russ, I know you said you have this great ability to not give a fuck, but maybe, just maybe, you should. Just a little. I can't really defend him at all right now, but I'll try and be one of the very few that still stand with him. I still love you, Russell, not to Westbrook. I think I said all my feelings about this guy. Like, I truly love him. He's truly one of my favorite basketball players. But I can't defend this bullshit anymore. I think I said this to you last night, and I think it's even more prevalent. There's no one in OKC to check this man and tell him, no, you're fucking up, man. You're not getting it done. The common denominator, yeah, Billy Donovan, he might need to go. I'm not against that. But you're the problem, nigga. You're the problem. You always are personalizing these matchups. You did it to Patrick Beverly and James Harden the first time you made it to the playoffs and you got put out in the first round. You did it in the second round. You did it the second time you went to the playoffs. You got in a personal battle with Ricky Rubio and you got put out. And I guess Donovan Mitchell to a degree and you got put out. And in this playoffs, you made it super personal with Dame Lillard and you're getting the business. Again, it's like you're out here trying to beat these guys where they're out there trying to beat your team. And you're losing. And you're not learning. Because you're going to go out and the next season, you're going to do the exact same thing again. We've seen this movie. And Billy Donovan is probably going to lose his job. And I think he deserves some of the blame. because I don't think he's done a good job as the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you're not going to lose your job. You're the savior of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody looks up to you. You're basically the god around OKC. Nobody's checking you. Not even Paul George, who I don't even think has the cojones to even check you. So what we see that's happening with you is going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to get these poor playoff performances from you. And you're going to continuously get put out in the first round. And everybody's going to talk bad about you. And it's going to hurt my fucking heart because I love you. But you ain't changing. And there ain't nobody around to change you. And that's what I feel about Russell Westbrook. So I'd love to hear, after you got a night's sleep and some time to sit on it, what your thoughts about Russ are.
What you wrote was very eloquent. What you spoke to was very passionate, and I don't think that I have anything really to add to that because you hit on a lot of important points. I would say that the only real chance for hope at this point. You talked about Billy Donovan potentially losing his job. The next coach that comes to Oklahoma City has to be, like, I'm use a quick analogy. I always say that women run the world. I love women, not on some thirst bucket kind of way, but I just think that they're very powerful creatures, right? And they have the power to inspire men in ways that they never imagined, okay? I know the effect that women have had on me. I've changed my life in some big ways. Russell Westbrook needs a coach that inspires him or moves him in the same way that a woman can. I'm not saying he needs a woman coach. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Becky Hammond should be the next coach at OKC. Although, maybe so. But I think a woman affects a man in a different sort of way that Becky Hammond wouldn't necessarily be able to affect Russ. But I do think that Russ needs to find a coach that he respects or has in such a high regard that not only will he listen to him, but he won't have a problem when that coach lets him know what time it is. See, because to the point that you made earlier, I think the coach, the organization as a whole, have just allowed him to just be whatever, And using my analogy, like if you allow a man to just be whatever, so many niggas would just be laid on the couch, watching TV, scratching their balls, eating nothing, eating whatever. But it's like when you know a woman's coming over, you clean up a little bit yourself.
Like
Yeah. We had, the house never gets too out of whack because your boy keep it tight. But yeah, I definitely spruce it up a little bit more with my girl coming through. So you clean up your place a little bit, you clean up yourself a little bit, you start taking care of some things a little bit differently, you start to focus on some different things. And he needs a coach that he respects enough to make those changes. And when that coach tells him, hey, man, you can't be jacking them shots out there behind the line like that. You need to go to the basket, okay? We're going to run an offense, okay, that's not conducive to you just doing whatever you want to do. You're going to run some stuff off the ball, okay? You're going to do some different kind of things, back cut, screens, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, you're not going to hang around the rim and get rebounds. Okay, we have a defensive structure that requires you and our group as a unit to be part of it. That's what it is. He needs a coach that's going to say that's what it is. And then the ownership needs to respect that and say, let that coach do what he does. Because I think that there's a fear of him. I've always thought of him as a good teammate because his teammates always respect him. They never say bad things about him. But I also kind of wonder if they're a part of them that's like it's a fear. It's like, no, I can't say anything bad about him because he has too much power and control. So I just think at this point that's what it's going to take. It's going to take somebody to come in and just say, we're not doing this anymore. And it might be some pushback from Russ, but Russ respects him and ultimately, can change. Because I think that Russ's talent level, there's always these narratives, you can't win with this guy as your number one and this and that, right? Russell Westbrook, obviously he was not the number one offensive force in this regard. But when Kevin Durant was there, they went to the NBA Finals. Let's not forget that, right? And they went to the Western Conference Finals multiple times, okay? And I don't think that Paul George is quite the player that Durant is. But if you take Paul George and Westbrook, which for anybody out there who's like, well, why don't you try to trade him or do anything like that? Both of them are on the front end of really big contracts. That's not looking too likely, okay? It is what it is. This Russ and Paul George thing is going to be the thing. I just think that they got to find a coach that's going to change their structure and change everything. And they have to build a team around those guys that's conducive to those guys. And it's got to be an up-to-date team. I think the Thunder as constructed would be a nice 90s team. But in this decade, they just don't have the prerequisite skills to compete with the Warriors and teams like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just I don't think that it's completely broken. But it's going to need a lot of tape. And Westbrook's going to have to accept this tape job, But it can be done. I mean, I'm watching a team right now in Milwaukee that a couple years ago was a lottery team.
Right.
And now with a new coach and a new attitude, they were the number one team record-wise in NBA. But it was a culture change, and their superstar, who comes across as a very humble individual who can't shoot like Westbrook, doesn't take a whole bunch of threes, doesn't take things personal. He just works hard and grinds, And like Troy said throughout, Russ is my favorite player, but boy, Giannis is coming. Yeah. That's my guy. Giannis is coming.
That's another thing you kind of touched on last night, is that you've been an OKC fan for like the last 9 years, ever since, the KD, Russ.
Man, when the Thunder pushed the Lakers to 6 games, the eventual champion Lakers in 2010, I fell in love. I said, look at these young guys. They can play.
Oh, they were fun. I mean, absolutely. So you've been a fan of that team, and now you're kind of, but, you see that the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
That this is pretty much as furthest this team is going to go at this point. So is your love starting to shift over to Milwaukee?
Listen, I just love the way that Giannis plays basketball. To me, he has that Westbrook athleticism and aggression, but it's more controlled. And really both of them as players were really raw products. When Russ came out of UCLA and Giannis came from, where's he from again? Greece? He's Greece?
He didn't play college.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I know he came, he was an international player, but I couldn't remember where exactly. But Greece. And I think that they were players that were developing and learning how to play in the NBA. And I just like the trajectory of what Giannis is becoming as a player. And like I said, he's not taking unnecessary jump shots, to prove points and do stuff like that. He's being very humble about it. And I love the way that they constructed that team around him. I mean, he's got dogs, man. Mirotic and Bledsoe and the guy that the Lakers let go, the big guy that knocks down the threes.
The Lopez.
Lopez, thank you. Lopez. I never
remember which Lopez it is, though.
Brooke?
I think it's Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, Brooke. Robin is the one.
Yeah,
I don't know how twins do this.
I know what they look like,
but Brooke is better than Robin.
Is on which?
Like, Brooke can shoot threes and do all this offensive stuff and a good defender. Robin is only a defender, really.
Right.
And he's a low post kind of player, But anyway, I just feel like that organization, they've constructed a really good team. And with all this love that I'm showing that franchise, I don't think they're going to beat the Celtics in the next round. I just think there's a process to this thing. And I don't think that they're flugazy like the Hawks were a few years ago when they won 60 games and the Cavs just got them the fuck out of there. I do think that the Bucks are going to be a long-term concern for NBA teams. But I think that there's a there's a process, and the Bucks are young, and Giannis is young, and they haven't really been through the bright lights yet. And I think the Celtics have, and they're a veteran team, and they know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Celtics put the Bucks out last year.
That too.
Even in the first round.
That too.
So they're gonna. This is basically essentially a rematch. And the last year's series, basically the home team won every game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this time around, the Bucks would have home field advantage or home court advantage. So, do you think that would not play a role in the series?
I absolutely think that it will play a role. I could very well see a similar thing playing out. But with that Game 7 being in Milwaukee, even though that home court would be an advantage, Kyrie is an advantage. Kyrie Irving didn't play last year in that series.
Man, he's got to be one of the scariest players in the league when the game is tight. Because this dude, his shot making and his ball handling and the way that he can just get off shots is scary. But I think in a close game, especially a Game 7, there's no moment that is too big for Kyrie. So in a Game 7 with the game on the line, yeah, I would probably go with the Celtics in that regard too. But I'm just wondering, are the Bucks just not a better team than them already? And can they just put them away?
So you think they are? You think the Bucks are potentially a better team than the Celtics?
I don't know what to think about the Celtics because they just swept the Pacers and it was pretty easy. But was that a product of the Pacers being broken because they had no Victor Oladipo? Or what? Or have the Celtics really figured this thing out like they were supposed to be this entire time? Because to me, this series, they look like the Celtics that we all thought they were going to be before the season. But this is the first time all year they've really looked like the Celtics we thought they were going to be all season. So I don't really know if this was a product of Victor Oladipo being out and the Pacers just not really having enough to put away a team like that or to beat a team like that. Or have the Boston Celtics really turned a corner? So, as it looks, I mean, the Bucks are up 100-90 right now in Game 4. So, it looks like the sweep is on for this series as well. So, it is going to be the Bucks and the Pistons in the second round. The Bucks and the Celtics, in the second round. So, we can kind of look ahead to that. I mean, unless you really think that the Pistons are going to make some miraculous comeback, I think we can kind of look ahead to that series, and I do think that's going to be a very interesting series, and I'm not completely sure. I mean, the East is going to be really set up to be some really intriguing.
The second round is really exciting. I mean, while you were talking, the Celtics got double blocked, and Giannis came down and airballed a 3. So this game is kind of really in a wild place right now. But I do think Milwaukee and Boston will match up pretty soon. And that is an exciting second round. Boston and Milwaukee, the Sixers and the Raptors. I mean that's what you. That is what you.
This is when the playoffs are going.
That's what you look forward to.
We're talking about the NBA playoff, which we kind of touched on that lightly. Like the NBA playoffs ratings have been down like 30-40%, but no LeBron. I think them ratings is going to go up.
I think they'll pick up. Yeah,
these are just matchups you can't ignore. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding me? The Bucks and the Celtics. That's a matchup I want my eyes on. Raptors and Sixers, I want my eyes on those. I mean, you're going to get the Spurs and the Blazers more than likely. That's going to be a pretty good series.
And I think that leads to another point. Like, I don't think that series is quite as sexy, but I think the problem with the ratings has been LeBron James was in the Eastern Conference. Right. So when LeBron was playing in Cleveland and, those games were highly rated. Well, these Eastern Conference games in the first round are not really that thrilling because they look like blowout city. Like, everyone looked like it was a bad matchup.
Right.
But so now we're counting on ratings on these West Coast games that are late as hell and niggas is trying to go to bed. Well, now in the East, the games are going to be the exciting games. Those are going to be the games that we look forward to, and they're going to be early enough that people will watch them, I think.
And I think easily the least sexy game of the second round, more than likely, is going to be the Blazers,
Blazers,
and that's still not a bad matchup.
It's
like
not.
that's not a, oh my god, I can't bear to watch this.
And by the way, let's not sleep on these Nuggets now.
I mean, the Nuggets aren't done either.
Nuggets
so
ain't done.
And I'm pretty much counting out OKC. I think they're done. I think Game 5 is their funeral.
Cooked
they're
and
black
fried.
to it. They're going home.
You said they're black to it.
Oh, they're black to it. Pay your respects. The Thunder are getting put 6 feet under. They're done. But the Nuggets and the Spurs, that's still a really good series going on. And whoever gets out of that, they're going to play the Blazers. And that's going to be the least sexy of the second round matchups because the other Western Conference
that Rockets Warriors.
The Rockets and Warriors. And dear Lord, that should be a Western Conference Finals matchup. And it's a shame that it's not going to be.
Yeah, the Rockets messed that up.
I think that's the battle of the two teams that are going to win the
championship.
The championship. Now, I'm not going to count out the teams in the East because I think those teams are pretty good too, especially if the Sixers or the Celtics can figure it out. I mean, not that I don't think that the Bucks match up well with the Warriors.
Right.
So if the Warriors make it, that could be a real interesting series if the Bucks make it. But I just think if I'm putting my money and all the money in my account, which isn't a whole lot, if I'm putting all that money on a champion, it's probably going to be the winner of the Warriors and Rockets series. Like I think that's going to be a fantastic series to watch. But pretty much all your series in the second round are going to be great matchups because for once the NBA had a sense of balance to it.
Yeah.
And so while we don't have a LeBron James, which is the cash cow, and he's the guy we pay a lot of attention to and we want to hear and see from, NBA fans might want to come back because we're going to have a barn burner of a second round. Like that's going to be some shit you really want to check out because there's going to be some really good matchups. So,
and LeBron James is 34 years old. We have to start preparing to transition away from a LeBron James NBA. And I think I said this to you yesterday or day before. I don't care what nobody say. The NBA is in the best place that it's ever been.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. But continue.
In terms of, the guy that we shredded earlier in this podcast, Russell Westbrook, has averaged a triple-double for 3 years straight.
Yes.
This is a dude that we're kind of calling a bum in today's NBA, based by superstar standards.
Something that's never been done before and probably won't be done ever again.
I mean, we mentioned Kyrie Irving, who might be the fourth best point guard, fourth best player at his position. And he's the guy that we would want late in the game with the ball in his hands. Damian Lillard, you can make a case for him being in that mix among point guards between Steph and Russ and that group. And what an amazing postseason he's had. He's like overlooked. Joel Embiid as a big man, unbelievable skill set. Kevin Durant is like something we've never seen before.
Kevin Durant is starting to come into his own as the best player in the NBA, and it's starting to become undeniable because literally the only person in the NBA that can stop Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He can get whatever shot he wants. He can get it however he wants. And really, if he decided to be more aggressive and do more, he'd be unstoppable. I mean, when he's motivated and he's locked in, like he's been in these last 2 games, good night. See ya. And I would love to see him and Giannis go head up. Are you kidding me?
Buddy.
I mean, that is, man,
buddy.
I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say about thinking about that matchup.
That's so exciting.
Giannis versus KD. Those are like 2 guys that have very similar body types, very similar athleticism. KD can probably score from the outside.
KD's a better shooter.
Is stronger and can probably get to the bucket.
To the hoop, right?
A little bit better than KD.
Right.
I mean, what do you even say about a matchup like that? I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a matchup of like exciting freaks of nature in terms of athletes in basketball that we've never seen before. I mean, y'all 90s dusty old head. Tell me a matchup in the 90s that you look forward to like that. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't like geeked about Sean Kemp versus Patrick Ewing. You know what I'm saying? In those days, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that those players weren't good players. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, we've had this whole conversation about different NBA players, and we haven't even mentioned the dude who averaged 36 points per game in the NBA.
James Harden.
Come on, man. Like,
now the problem with James right now that people are having with James is he's starting to do his playoff thing again, where he's kind of not showing up. Because even though I mentioned in my status that he did more than Russ, that's not asking for much right now.
Right.
But he can't go 3 for 20 against the Golden State Warriors.
Nope.
He can do that against the Utah Jazz, who were struggling to score.
Yep.
And Donovan Mitchell is still going through his early growing pains as he's trying to grow into his own and trying to figure this thing out. But James Harden can't go 3 for 20 against the Golden State Warriors. He's going to get put up. Now that's also to say Steph Curry, he might not want to go 3 for 14.
He has his moments
we didn't even
too.
mention him in all of this.
Oh, I know.
I mean, we mentioned that KD might be the best player in the NBA, which he really might be the best player in the NBA. But he has this dude who's revolutionized the NBA on his team. And then Klay Thompson found his stroke again. I mean, it is just... the NBA is in a place that I personally have never seen it in before.
It's amazing.
It is a beautiful thing. I mean, the Sixers, if they can get this chemistry thing down and they can start to come together, they got 4 dudes that can legitimately score and take over a game.
They sure
From
can.
Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid if he's healthy. I mean, the Sixers are absolutely scary as a team. The Celtics have so much young talent. Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Kyrie, Scary Terry. I mean, Al Horford, he's not young, but he's
he's a very serviceable NBA player.
Gonna definitely help you out in playoff time.
Yeah.
The NBA is in a wonderful place. The Raptors got such a deep team. Kawhi, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry.
As long as he's not scoring 0 in a game,
as long as Kyle Lowry shows up, the Raptors are as dangerous as anyone. I mean, and they're starting to hit their stride as they beat the Magic by 22 in Orlando.
Yeah.
Just the other day. So, the NBA is a beautiful thing right now. So, to all of you that aren't tuning in right now, I get it. The first round is kind of dead. The first round isn't the most exciting thing, but it's almost over, and we're going to get to the real action. Because this second round is going to blow your mind. I'm here to tell you. We're going to see good series after good series after good series. And we better not get reactionary, because you're going to see something. You're going to see some wild swings and some wild change. It's going to be a hell of a second round. Like, I can't wait. I just cannot wait.
Man, I think Giannis has 40 points in this game.
Man, that kid is incredible. Giannis, like, I mean,
yeah, Blake Griffin is
having a meltdown.
Yeah, Blake Griffin is
no amount of yelling from the bench.
He's having
prevent you from getting sweat.
He's having a light skin meltdown.
Oh, Blake Griffin, you can do them. You can do all the GameFly commercials you want in like 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, man. He can.
I don't even think he does GameFly commercials anymore. Does he even do commercials anymore? Like, when's the last time you seen a Blake Griffin commercial?
Okay, so what spots did he used to do? He did GameFly.
He did.
I feel like he used to do. Yeah, he was Kia. He was the Kia guy.
Like he did.
Did he ever do State Farm? Or maybe that was only Chris Paul.
No, I think that was Chris Paul for the most part. He might have been in there with them.
With Paul, because then they were on the Clippers. Yeah.
What else did he do? Blake Griffin was in a lot of commercials.
He was in commercials.
When Lob City was like a big deal, Blake Griffin was in a lot of commercials.
I mean, he went from L.A. to Detroit, and he went from a super athletic power forward to
he's refined his game now. Like he shoots more
to
threes.
a dude.
He has a more well-balanced game.
Yeah,
he's actually had a great season this year when healthy.
Yeah, he's been
But
good.
he's not the same player that we grew up.
He wasn't a guy that was throwing dunks through Kendrick Perkins.
He's this new.
Shout out to Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins, I think he was on TV somewhere.
He was on The Jump with Rachel Nichols or one of those shows like that.
Nichols.
But
Rachel Nichols is a queen. Like,
listen, man, don't have woke Twitter.
That is not woke. No, that's
emailing me. Are you calling that cream girl a queen? The cream queen.
Listen, wokey mom. You listen up. All women's queens.
I agree. I do think all women are queens.
Women are queens.
I'm not gonna go heavy into this dialogue right now because But I am going to agree with you. I agree all women are queens. I think there's a push sometimes, and it's important to let some of our chocolate sisters know.
Oh, man.
Because it's not always, it's not always expressed to my chocolate sister queens that they are queens.
No doubt.
And I think that sometimes when we do the whole everybody's a queen thing, it sort of does a disservice in the same way that it's like, when we say Black Lives Matter and some people say all lives matter. I don't want to be that person, but I do think that all women are queens. I love women. I think that all women are queens. Absolutely.
But I'll also
just don't forget my chocolate ones.
I come on my status and during Women's History Month, by the way, I came on my status and one of the first statuses I put of the month of March was Jill Scott is the queen.
Yeah,
Jill Scott.
Yeah, Jill Scott.
Like a queen to the infinity and beyond. Like, I was listening to Jill Scott one day while I was like driving our van. While I was doing a van run at my old job, and I just was listening to her stuff. I was like, yo, forget the little acting like she was sucking a dick on the microphone.
Although that was amazing.
Though that was very sensual. Just listen to her music, dog. Jill Scott is a queen of all queens. Like, she might not even just be a queen. She might be an empress. Like, she is the embodiment of a black woman.
A monarch.
I absolutely love Jill Scott. Absolutely love her. I would love to meet her someday. But with that said, man, my cream sisters need love too. You know what I'm saying? And then in the sports realm, there are two queens in the NBA: Rachel Nichols and Doris Burke.
Okay.
Doris Burke, I'm gonna ask you, who you taking, Rachel Nichols or Doris Burke?
In what capacity? To cover a game? To commentary? Like, what are we, in what regard? Because the problem is, I think that they're both unbelievable at what they do, and they both operate in the NBA circle, but they operate in different lanes. Whereas Doris is going to be breaking down games and being commentary chick, which is, she's really has a great knowledge, understanding of the game. She's unbelievable. Whereas Rachel Nichols is going to become more from like the media sort of standpoint, and just kind of breaking down the different things that are happening in the NBA. They're both dope at what they do. They're
both amazing. I love both of them. And there's always those assholes on Twitter and Facebook and all that shit that talk so much shit about women. Because I don't know if you discussed this in the first podcast or just real life, because sometimes I get them blended together.
Yeah, we talk a lot.
You kind of discussed one time with me that men just hate women. And that's just the bottom line. And I feel like when I hear people get on Twitter and talk shit about Rachel Nichols or Doris Burke, I'm like, clearly you just hate women, because Rachel Nichols and Doris Burke are the best at what they do, are some of the best at what they do
Period. Male, female, whoever.
You go get
There's some of the. To be honest, of all the little NBA like the shows that come on during the day, I look forward to The Jump. The Jump is the show that I feel like is like a good show.
Absolutely, like that is a gem. Like I always forget like when it comes on or to turn it on when I have a chance to watch.
Yeah, I usually catch it on YouTube, like the clips on there.
But man, that show is incredible, and it's because Rachel Nichols is a queen. Then when you watch Game, Doris Burke can do the sidelines. She can interview people. She can do color commentary. She can do it all. And she can do a crossover in a mini skirt.
Hey.
She is, I mean, Drake gave her a shout out and showed her some love. But I think that was the time where we all were like, that's a bandwagon we can all jump on with Drake. Doris Burke.
Absolutely.
I to be honest, I agree with you to a certain degree. I can't really choose. I think I'd probably go with Doris Burke just because I just think that I'm a person of versatility. Mm-hmm. But man, what Rachel Nichols does, I like in terms of being like a sideline person and doing TV shows, you're not gonna find very many, if any, better. She is absolutely incredible. Those are two talented women, and y'all men out here, all y'all niggas better put some respect on those ladies' names. I better not catch none of y'all talking shit about Doris Burke or Rachel Nichols, because those are queens and they're some of the best at what they do. And if you have anything negative to say about them or you think they suck, it's because you just don't like women. And it's the bottom line, because there's plenty of trash dudes out here on TV saying trash stuff that those two would run circles around. Period. So give them their props.
The conversation that we had about women happened this morning during some bacon and eggs that I whipped up that was banging.
Ooh, yeah. Dijon hooked up the breakfast this morning. I can't.
I'm going to try not to go off the deep end and get too passionate about this because, you know, I just don't want to. Listen, Milwaukee is sick, man. Milwaukee is sick. Milwaukee is beating the brakes off these niggas. This was like Milwaukee was losing at halftime. I think they were down 6. Now they're up 30.
Single digits not that long ago.
They're up 31.
Like at the beginning of the quarter.
Man, they're sick, bro.
Now it's a 31-point game. Now it's 29 because some just hit a shot
guy for the Pistons.
on the Pistons. Dear Lord, this game got out of hand.
Milwaukee, like I said, I think I would pick the Celtics in 7, but boy, Milwaukee is something else, man. I love watching them play, man. They're really sick. Real quick on my girls narrative. Listen, man, there's guys that just don't like girls. There are guys out here that just hate women. Misogyny is a real fucking thing. I feel like sometimes women call certain things misogyny that I think are not really. They're just kind of blown out of proportion. Yes. But there are legitimately men who hate women. I don't know what a woman did to you in your life, your relationship with your own mom, what girl broke up with you, broke your heart, whatever. But my feeling, or maybe it's just societal standards. Y'all just feel like women being in certain positions and having certain opportunities will be a threat, you know, to you and society as a whole. I just have a different experience in life, you know, and I just want fairness and accountability, you know, and opportunity, right? So, yeah, if a woman is not doing as good a job as a man, then she needs to be held accountable. But you can't tell me that Doris Burke and Rachel Nichols are not good at what they do. I want you to tell me what's wrong with what they do. You know what I'm saying? I want to know. And it's got to be something beyond, well, they should just be in the kitchen anyway. Fuck you. Okay?
Yeah, and fuck those people that come on ESPN comments and all the... Anytime a woman ever does anything... They come on there and they say, oh, she would be great to make a sandwich. Like, you're so corny as fuck. And that joke is so played out. And you only do it to get little comments and get people like me who are dumb enough to come on there and say to you that joke is corny as fuck. Even though I really don't actually do that, but I want to. Like, come on, nigga. Get a new joke, man. That joke is trash. And it's not that I'm being sensitive or I'm being a white knight. No, it's just corny. Y'all niggas say that every time a woman does anything on the internet.
Right.
It's corny. How do you guys find that? Just because you tried to be funny doesn't mean that you're actually funny. And any nigga who thinks that's funny is corny. And keep that nigga away from me. Because that shit is trash. Straight up. Come on, man. But, is there anything else you wanted to really discuss or talk about? I mean, I know there was the Red Sox, my Red Sox.
Man, y'all beat the brakes off my Rays, man.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, we were off to a 6-13 start. Chris Sale, who just got paid, is 0 for 4 on the season. And it starts. We needed this series, Dijon.
Man, y'all had that.
Y'all
had that World Series hangover, man.
2.5 games up in the AL East, I think, unless some things have changed today. I think the Rays recovered today because I'm pretty sure they beat the Royals today. So they recovered and they got.
Yeah, they did.
They got a recovery win right there, and they're definitely still the leaders in the AL East. I'm sure they were up 2.5. We bought you guys a little, like, y'all were way ahead in the standings until we swept y'all. Oh, and I just seen on ESPN.com that I seen a headline that Nathan Eovaldi is going to have shoulder surgery. We probably worked him to death in winning the World Series in that game we ultimately lost. But then I think he came back out in the clinching game to clinch the World Series for us, and he pitched his ass off. So it was all worth it. But right now the Rays are 15-8, and they're 3 games up in the AL East on the Yankees, who are 11-10. The AL East isn't very good, so you guys should be in good shape. You got one of the best right now, I think Blake Snell, y'all's best pitcher, is on the DL. But the Rays are getting it done right now. They're still the best team in the American League. They just got to win over the Royals, who are trash, but a win is a win. Really, the Red Sox need that series more so than the Rays did. And we still got a lot of work to do. And our game versus your old team.
Hey, my old team.
Detroit Tigers.
Detroit baseball.
So we didn't get a chance to go for win number 10 on the season.
Hey, y'all, don't hate on me. New team. Look, new city, new squad. Man, listen, my brother went to a Rays game. I know, they all think this is stupid. Fuck y'all. And brought me back a Rays hat, like the old Tampa Bay Devil Rays throwback joint. Oh, it was so hard. I was like, oh, I got a new team. I wear that. Yo, I wear that hat. I wear that hat whenever I can. Like, oh, if I'm wearing something black today, I'm about to wear my Rays hat. Oh, I'm wearing something gray today, I'm wearing my Rays hat. I'm wearing something red today, I wear my Rays hat. I'm fine, nigga. It's hot outside. I'm wearing my Rays hat. Gotta protect my face. Like, I don't care.
I went to that game.
Shout out to the Rays.
I went to a Rays game. I went to see late in the season last year. I went to see the Rays play the Baltimore Orioles. My old job, Sunrise. I don't know if I was supposed to put their name out there, but shout out to Sunrise Community. Love you guys, even if I didn't.
Well, you don't work there anymore, so.
But I don't have anything negative to say.
They're not going to tell your new job.
I just think.
And fuck your new job anyway. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm still employed there. But anyway,
yeah.
I got tickets and I took some of my clients to the game. And I said during the entire time, I was like, all right, I got to get something for Dijon. I got to get something for him. So I'm watching this game. My clients, they aren't even watching it. They just trying to eat hot dogs and drink Coca-Cola. But I'm like, this game's got to give me something worth my while. Blake Snell was out there pitching the gym. I mean, it was Ks, double plays, all kinds of wonderfulness. Till he gave up a 2-run home run on his last batter. But it didn't even matter because they won like 16-2. But before my clients tripped out and started swinging on me and others because they were having behaviors, because I think one of them wanted to go home. Really, they all wanted to go home.
It was 16-2. They was trying to get the fuck out of there.
And they
didn't care about the score anyway. They ate their food.
To just go home. I was like, I can't leave up out of here without getting my man Dijon something. So I went over to the store and I was like, I gotta get something old school, right? Because like the Rays wore some old school jerseys earlier in the season.
Oh, I love
and
those.
Dijon was just in love, and that's when he became a full-time Rays fan.
Love those.
So I went over and I was like, oh, I need this hat right here. I was like, I just know he's gonna love it. So then I sat it down in our old roommate Erica's apartment. I sat it down on like her dog cage, but I wanted to make sure, because I wanted to give it to you in person, but you was out with the booski late night. And
shout out to Erica. She got snakes and dogs.
Yeah, shout out to Erica. We might have her on the
She's
pod.
like an animal.
You think we're gonna put Erica on the pod one day?
I mean, if she's down, man, you know what I'm saying? She gotta get out the zoo though.
Yeah.
She be feeding rats
I set it down
to
and
snakes.
John came home, was like, rats. That hat was gone. I was
it
like,
was gone.
Oh. He was like, man, this hat is sweet, man. I was like, yes.
Oh yeah, that hat was mine, bitch. You brought that bitch in there? I said, yep.
So now,
I'm rocking
John, a.k.a. Rat Cat, is officially a Tampa Bay Rays fan full time.
That's right.
And his Tampa Bay Rays have the best record. Well, I guess them and the Seattle Mariners kind of share the best record in the AL right now, which is a bit of a surprise. Like if the playoffs started today, the playoffs would be the Rays out the East, the Twins out the Central, the Mariners out of the West, and the two wild card teams would be the Astros and the Rangers.
Where's correspondent Kemper at, man? I don't even feel good about talking about baseball without his pitchers and catchers looking ass.
Kemp Dog couldn't get on. He had something to do. Shout out to our man Kemp Dog. We gonna have him on here. I wanted him to come on here and talk to y'all about his experience with the Game 5 between his St. Louis Blues and the Winnipeg Jets, but fortunately he couldn't make it on today.
Man, what he got going on? His girl told him to reorganize the books.
He's going out to L.A. for a trip to do something.
Oh, okay. I'm just talking shit.
Man, this dude is a businessman.
I'm just talking shit.
In the weed and hemp community,
oh,
man. That dude is out here getting the bag.
Are we snitching? Are you
snitching
snitching right now?
We love you. Go get the bag.
Is it legal where he's at? Is he snitching? Yeah, it's legal where he lives.
Dog, he lives in Colorado and he's going to California. Both places are legal.
Man, I just want to make sure
we ain't snitching on nothing.
We don't.
Chill out, man.
Don't get stitches.
I ain't no snitch, man. I learned from Cameron, who last Sunday, that day, or someday, I seen something on Twitter one day, like, on this day, some time ago, Cameron was on 60 Minutes talking about how he doesn't snitch to the police, and if a serial killer moved in next door, he would simply move out. And I was like,
I mean, Cam.
That's why y'all don't interview Cameron. Just let him go on the track talking about getting computers pewted and shit.
Cam, you're one of
my... Don't put him in front of a microphone to make him sound crazy.
You're one of, like, my top 10 favorite rappers. That was dumb, Cam. That was fucking stupid, man. I can't defend that fuckery. You know what I'm saying?
You can't defend what Cam did.
I can't.
He's wilding, man, but...
I can defend boosters boosted and pewters pewted somehow. But I can't. I can't defend that dumb shit, man.
You can't defend.
Nah, man.
Telling us that a serial killer moved in. You wouldn't tell the police. You would just move out.
I feel like you trolling right now.
What else is there?
Shit's dumb, man. You got some topics.
My Blue Jackets.
Thinking Troy wrote topics today. Fuck this guy.
You're supposed to. This is Preparation is the key, you hating nigga.
Nigga, we was winging it that first go.
Well, nigga, we ain't winging it this time. We doing this thing the right way.
This guy's trying to be professional.
We doing it. We trying to add a little.
Y'all shit. We doing the audio version. You see what this nigga got on? He matching his shit. He trying to really look like a sports guy. He try to look like a sports guy. Nigga, this is audio only, nigga.
I got my blue jacket shirt. I got my comfy. Man, that hoodie I got over there, that mug is mad comfy. I'm good, bro.
Nigga, you see me.
And the world in Tampa is lucky my battery in my car is busted. Yeah, else I would have been up in the Best Buy showing my ass because we swept them. And I'm still excited about that. Columbus is still excited about that. The Blue Jackets held like a scrimmage practice that was open to the public. And we showed out. We are excited. This is the best
It was cute.
Season of Blue Jackets hockey.
It was cute.
And now all we got to do is just wait till Game 7 of the Bruins and Maple Leaf series comes to a close and see who we play. I'm hoping that we get the Maple Leafs. I personally just think the Maple Leafs have always been kind of cool. I like their jerseys. I think they're some of the best jerseys in sports.
Hockey got a lot of sweet-ass jerseys.
Hockey has tons of sweet jerseys,
man.
But to me, the Leafs are among the best.
Big logos on a sweater.
I'm a fan of Austin Matthews.
Hot.
Their coach, Mike Babcock, used to coach the Detroit Red Wings before he took the Maple Leafs job. So he's very familiar with the Blue Jackets. I think that would make it a bit fun. But overall, and I just don't feel comfortable going up against Zdeno Chara and Patrice Bergeron and the Bruins. I just think that those teams I just don't know psychologically we can handle them, whereas I think the Maple Leafs are a little bit easier to digest for the Blue Jackets. So I'm hoping that we can get out of this, that the Blue Jackets win, that the Maple Leafs win, so we can get a Leafs Jacket series. I would absolutely love that. Also, I'm hoping my new second favorite team, the Vegas Golden Knights, win their Game 7 over the San Jose Sharks.
Best intro in sports.
Vegas Knights got the best intro. Man, that shit is insane, man. Like, shout out to my man Tim Davis, who's now moved out to Vegas. I'm telling you, Tim, you need to go out to a Vegas Knights game and see that shit for yourself. Man, that shit is crazy. I can't get enough of it. So yeah, I'm hoping that the Leafs go on to play my Blue Jackets, and I'm hoping the Vegas Knights go on to the second round because they're one of the coolest franchises in sports. I mean, for them to be this good off rip as an expansion team, they've only been in existence for 2 years, and they've already made it to a Stanley Cup final. If they win, they'll be in the second round for the second straight year. They'll be 2 for 2 and get into the second round. They have one of the best entrances in sports, and they're in just a fun place in Vegas. The Raiders can only hope to be as dope as the Vegas Knights.
The Raiders are some clowns.
But the Raiders, man, they got some shit to figure out, especially with draft time coming up.
Especially with John Gruden's goofy ass.
Anything else you wanted to say or get off your mind, or any other topics you want to talk about?
Nah, man, I think I'm good.
All right, well, that will pretty much wrap up what we're doing here. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Panda Podcast with Rat Cat. Be sure to listen, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys stick with us through this ride. Once again, shout out to our lo-fi hip-hop station for today, which is Nourish. I like the tunes they had on today. I thought it gave it a little bit of a different vibe. There was like even a little verbiage in there in the tunes. And this background is dope as shit. Like it looks like a mountain, like a cliff. And it's got like a big cherry blossom tree and like some clouds. It looks mad scenic. Like it's dope. So shout out to Nourish and their channel. I'm going to put the link in the description so you can go listen to them and listen to their music while you chill, study, read a book, or do whatever you do.
You can listen to our podcast and do that shit too.
You can. I wouldn't read and listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
but
that's
you can
true.
definitely
That's
clean up
true.
your
That
house.
gets tricky.
You can
it gets tricky.
drive around the city when you running errands. Put us on. You know, do whatever you do.
Yeah.
You can give.
If you're at
listen,
work,
man.
not doing a damn thing.
If you're at work and
put your headphones, get your new earbuds,
or whatever you doing.
Listen
put us
to
on,
us.
man. Show us some support. Show us some love as we grow and we learn how to do this and we get better. I love and appreciate you guys' support. Until next time, we say goodbye. We love you. But I'm about to get a whole holler at this sub in the fridge.
Listen, I've been looking at these ruffles. I'm trying not to be crunching during the podcast. I don't know how that's gonna. You want me to?
I told you.
Is that okay? Like we're gonna hear how that crunch?
Go ahead.
You ain't got to.
We're at the end.
You ain't got to beg me. Listen, don't stop it yet.
Hey, man, I wanted to know here from niggas.
Niggas was waiting for me to open the bag.
Oh shoot! Look at that crunch.
Buddy, listen.
We some whole fools. Don't pass no mind.
Listen.
Like I said,
Man, the original Rough Daddies. I know y'all. Some of y'all some cheddar and sour cream, nigga. Just give me the regular.
Oh, you need that hell of a dip, bro. You put some hell of a dip with the ruffles. That's slamming. But once again, thanks for tuning into the Panda Podcast. I hope you guys continue in the future. We love you and we thank you and we appreciate your support. So until next time, peace.
Tell y'all's mom I said what up. Come on, man. I'm not really doing that.
We love the mamas.
Yeah, shout out to the moms out there. Definitely love the moms. Moms are great. Are we still recording? Because I'm just talking shit. You're going to edit this out. I don't care. I like it. I'm just saying shit.
I didn't say I was going to edit it out.
Great. It can
I was
go.
listening to this little
We can go.
right
Yeah,
quick.
you know, there was like a smooth, a yas flute and a harp. Oh. Oh, did you hear that nigga that said?
Yeah. All right, we're leaving this time.
Did you want it with just